My name is Rammel Chan, and I am in defense of forgiveness.
And are you ready?
Okay.
I know. Hold on.
That sounded a lot more dramatic than it needed to. Relax.
I'm in defense of forgiveness.
I'm in defense of forgiveness. All right, Don Henley. I just need you to. Judges, don't count that either. Don't count the old lady talking.
Don Henley dig?
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
Forgiveness. Anyway, okay, fine. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Great. And are you ready?
I'm ready.
I love that story very much. And I want you to say your name one more time because I've been mispronouncing it and I'm an asshole.
Rammel.
Rammel. I've been saying Rammel and it's Rammel,
okay.
which is so much cooler.
I forgive you.
Oh, thank you. Don't count it. But that was real fucking good. Okay, good. And you are ready, as you have said. I'm gonna let you
I
go again.
am ready, yes.
Wonderful. Josh is going. 17.
Yeah, okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Anyway. And for the final time this evening, Right Club audience, are you ready? Then it's shimmy, 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 shimmy. It's Rammel Chan for forgiveness in 3, 2, 1, begin.
When I lived in Germany, when my dad was in the army, Peter Zaniewski was my best friend from 6th to 8th grade. I liked him because we were gross together. We shared a notebook with each other called the Yuck Book, where we wrote intimate thoughts and passed it to each other in class. We tried our hardest to gross each other out. Silly things like barfing on poop and drinking congealed milk and licking Miss Wilhelmie's hairy legs. Innocent stuff. One time some mean kids asked me, "What color are your pubes?" I didn't know what to say because I didn't know what pubes were. And thinking it was something internal, like an organ, I said purple, because that's what I assumed all internal organs were colored, like the liver. They laughed at me, and Peter Zaniewski, my best friend, came to my defense and said, "He does have purple pubes. He told me." And they laughed at him even harder. He would later tell the story that he was trying to get them to make fun of him instead of me, and that's why he said that, but I really don't think he knew what pubes were either. Peter didn't want to go to the German school. He was one of the few kids from the German economy who actually paid money to be at the American school on base. His family had a home in France, but resided most of the time in Germany for his dad's work, whatever that was. It didn't occur to me until later that his parents made a lot of money to have 2 homes in 2 countries. My father had no home in no countries. We were soldiers. We lived in a furnished apartment on the barracks that looked exactly like every single other furnished apartment on the barracks, a kind of permanent hotel for the families of poor people whose job it was to kill other poor people. I asked my father once if we were rich, and he turned to me and in his soft Filipino accent replied, "We are blessed." And unsatisfied, I asked him again, "But are we rich?" And he said, "I have $500, which also wasn't satisfactory because I didn't understand how much things cost. Gradually, I learned that Peter was rich. He was my better. Before I knew what a better was. I could tell because of the way my parents talked about him and his family. Context, he's working for the UN now, and I'm scraping by in Chicago's theater and art scene. One day, he invited me to come to his house in France for the weekend. My parents made me wear really nice clothes, like Meet the Pope clothes. They handed me some money, 40 Deutschmarks. They gave me a Tupperware of lumpia in case we got hungry. They told me to be polite, to show good manners. We were driving along the Autobahn and played Sega Game Gear. We flashed our passports at the border between Germany and France, and I remember the border guard looked at me especially, and Peter's father said something in French or German, and they both laughed. Peter mentioned he was hungry, and I offered some lumpia, but his parents laughed, and instead we stopped at a restaurant, not a McDonald's. We stopped at the restaurant to eat with clean white tablecloths, and they ordered calamari, which I decided was the richest food I had ever eaten. I offered to pay for my meal, taking out the 40 Deutschmarks, and his father laughed at me again. I didn't understand how much things cost, after all. We got to Peter's house in France, and he got pretty sick of me pretty quick. I was trying to impress his wealthy white parents and not embarrass my poor Asian parents, and he didn't think it was funny or cool at all. I remember thinking the salad they pulled from the garden was nasty. He and I slept in the same bed and said gross things to each other until we fell asleep. Throughout the weekend, he never showered. I showered every day I was there, and he said, and I'll never forget, "You must be pretty dirty if you have to wash so much." And I remember being so mad, and I always wished I had said back, "You must be actually pretty dirty because you don't wash at all." But instead, I shrugged it off and let him beat me at chess and GoldenEye. There's something about finding out your friend is your better that ruins a friendship. Friendship is about being gross, about wallowing in muck together, whatever the muck may be. It sits in the trust and comfort of knowing that someone has your back because you're both the same kind of slime. When you find out his type of slime is distilled from the French Alps, you feel a little differently. I couldn't articulate this feeling of inequality as a kid. The way he looked at me made me feel like trash, but it wasn't a visible crime in a way that I could explain where that hurt came from. It was from a kind of silent ridicule, beating up against a system, that there was a circle, and inside that was Peter, and on the outside was me. I felt alone in this friendship, ruined by the disparate gap between his world and mine. I felt an inescapable desire to do something, to find my friend. So, when we got back to school, I showed everyone the Yuck book. I told them it was his. They laughed at him. They called him a pervert. They said he was disgusting. It hurt him, I remember. He pretended it was funny, but while he smiled, he slammed the book in my chest and didn't talk to me for a week. I'd hurt him. I didn't know why I did it. Maybe I do now. After a week of not talking, he called me up, and he told me in a strangely mature voice that I had hurt his feelings. I told him he had hurt me too, that the visit to France had made me feel bad about myself. He said he was sorry, and then I said I was sorry. Then Peter Zanussi paused, and for the first time, outside of a religious setting, someone told me, "I forgive you," and it felt liberating. Forgiveness is the only human ritual that rebinds the contract, that you are mine and I am yours, and you cannot forgive something when there is no crime. I had to break our contract to save our friendship. When you forgive someone, you acknowledge them with dignity. You see their stupidity and you choose to understand it. When you ask for forgiveness, you see their pain, and you choose by force or through your own internalization to move forward with them in it. I am yours and you are mine. All the harm that was done was to bring us to this point, to remember that. The day before I was to leave Germany forever, we bought a split of champagne at the convenience store on base because he insisted he should send me off right. He bought it with his brother's ID, which was absurd now to think because we were clearly 13 fucking years old. We sat on top of the dugout at the field where we did laps for school and shared it with our group of friends. When his mom came to pick him up, he hugged me really tight for a kind of long time, like he was trying to hide his face.